Hello? I guess by now you know who I am. Do I have to give my name and address?
For the record,
No, you
okay,
don't have
if
to
you wouldn't
name
mind.
and address.
My name is Philip Lao, and I live on 1475 Charlton Road. Okay. Let me see. I have here a black plastic bag, dog bark, for dog waste that I got from Lacey Park. The same kind of bag that was left on our side gate, which everyone has seen now. The mayor had dropped it after his wife had pointed out where to do it. So it is fitting that the color is black, since this is a black day for San Marino. Black is also the color of mourning. So I am mourning. I am mourning for this city, where the will of the majority of its residents is willfully disregarded, where one person decides he knows what is best for everyone else. I thought that only happens in Russia or some third world country with a dictator. So I've spoken in front of this council a few times over the years, complaining about the lack of proper care of the oaks in our parkways. I mourn for those oaks that fell without proper care. We lost a huge oak on our corner. That was the first time I stood up before this council. And it happened to be the day when the dog park was proposed. I wasn't planning on attending that meeting. This was back in 2008. Okay. Now, our tree, which is a huge oak that would cover 5 cars in the corner of our house, was heavy, and I called the city a few times to have them trim it. They said they will get to it when it is time, their schedule, whenever their schedule will allow it. And sure enough, after a little bit of rain, it fell. And then when I called the city, offering to pay a little bit more money to get a little bit bigger tree to start with, nobody returned my call, and there was a small twig there that you can see. That now, after six years, is a little bit bigger. Okay, so it will be 30 years before it gets close to any kind of a tree that we had before. So at that time, I had problems with people not picking after the dogs. And I decided I would put a no poop zone sign. I had, to defend my right to have it instead of, in spite of Mr. Kneier's insistence that it is ugly. I have gotten calls from Ron Servin, who said he was the compliance officer, and he had threatened that, it was against the municipal ordinance. And I looked at the ordinance, and it says you can only have, in the residential area, you can only have security alarm system signs or real estate signs. So sure enough, but I drove around further, and I saw a lot of USC Trojans, UCLA Bruins, and Kyle signs. And I came to the city council meeting, and I asked that if those signs were taken down, or there's also beware of dog signs too. So I had said that if those signs were forced to be taken down, I would take down my sign. And I still respect that, I will do that. So now, I also mourn for the trees on Huntington Drive, that, where I go get my dry cleaning and where I get my haircut. All of a sudden, they're gone. They used to provide some shade, and they're just down the street. They used to provide shade in the summertime when I park. I have not heard from anyone a good reason for removing those trees and planting again little twigs. There will be 30 years before, and I'll be long gone before they'll provide shade for anyone.
Right.
So I have spoke up when the residents of Circle Drive had to fight some proposed variances on a house in their street, which is quite far from where we live. It wasn't my fight, but I spoke up for those residents. And recently, I spoke up against the proposed bike lanes, which would not have affected us directly. You can say, I did not have a dog in those fights. But see, Mel Brooks, who's a great comedian, said in a recent PBS special, the difference between comedy and tragedy is this. Comedy is when someone else falls into a hole while walking and kills himself. That is funny. But tragedy is when you have a paper cut, okay, because it happened to you. So I'm here standing up for all those people that are affected, whether it's the farmer's market that is on a 3-month trial that somehow was extended indefinitely, Whether, I don't live near the farmer's market, I'm not affected. I have never stepped foot in it, and I tell people not to go there because it is not needed. So after visiting Israel in the Holocaust Museum, I was touched by this quote from Pastor Martin Niemöller. He said, "First they came for the communists. I did not speak up because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists. I did not speak up because I was not a socialist. And then they came for me, and no one else was there to speak up." So, again, that is my prepared remarks, and that is all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next on the sheet is Richard Gibbs.
Richard Giss. I live at
On Monday, and at that time I had said, I think it's a mistake. If he apologized, that would be fine. And I did not want to press charges. But since then, the letter I got, which I read carefully, says you picked it up near the lamppost. So I went back to the video, and it distinctly shows way past the lamppost. And there is no way you could have picked it up because there's a lady that's walking on the right-hand side, and it shows you did not get anywhere near the lamppost, nor did Liz, who was walking in front of you. And by the time you show up on the screen, you were holding a bag, a briefcase on your left hand and the bag of poop on your right. Okay? Now, since then, though, and I tried to correct that problem. So where you picked up, whether near the lamppost, 10 feet away, 30 feet away, or from the park, is immaterial right now. But since then, you have compounded the situation by adding lies upon lies. How can you tell someone with a straight face that it got too heavy? The dog poop is less than half a pound. Maybe it got too heavy or decided to drop it. No, you did not drop it. You tossed it. Okay? And if it's too heavy, your half-pound bag of dog waste, you're carrying a briefcase on the left. It's on the TV news, channel 9 to be exact, if you want the station. But that is what you said.
No, I'm not going to get into it.
Right. Okay. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you've changed your story. You've given different excuses for what happened. Why don't you man up and say that you are not happy that this paper came out a few days before that quoted me saying I am opposed to the dog park, and I've got 139 signatures against it, 47 of which are dog owners, and that I quoted that when you're walking in Lacey Park, instead of near the rose arbor, instead of smelling roses, you'll be smelling dog poop. Okay? Why don't you, just admit that you and your wife decided that it was time to teach me a lesson, and you would pick up something from the receptacle. It's not a trash can. There is a dog waste station right inside Lacey Park, where there's a roll of dog, of same black paper bag that you can pick up for free, and then you can dispose of the dog waste in this receptacle. All I can say is I'm grateful that you decided not to pick up 5 and 6 or 6 bags and throw it over, okay? And it was only one, okay? And because of all these statements that you have made, misleading, total fabrications, that I have decided to ask the chief of police to cite you for littering and vandalism. And like I said, I have spoken to a lawyer, and because you are acting as the mayor, okay, I will be suing the city and you personally, for harassment, for all the actions that you have taken over the years. And I have stated that any financial settlement that I receive from the city or you will go to charity. I'm not looking for money. I did not look for fame. I did not want to be called every few minutes for an interview, but you have forced it on me, okay, by your actions. And like I agree with a lot of people that have spoken up. I do not think that you should still be sitting here as mayor. Thank you.
Next,